Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Strawberry Hill Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Simmons. And like always, we're here at the Shop Cigar Lounge. Like I always say, come and see us if you haven't. Please, before we get started, make sure you like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Make sure you follow us on all social media platforms at Strawberry Hill Podcast. And today, ladies and gentlemen, I have a special guest for us. We have Commissioner at Large of the 2nd District, Mr. Tom Burroughs, who has served our community for over 30 years. Welcome in, my friend.
Well, thank you, Mike. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So you've been like a lifelong Wyandotte Countyan, I should say. So kind of, I guess, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, man, Mike, where to begin? I know there's not a part of Wyandotte County I haven't lived in at one time or another, having started out in the Quindaro area and then moving over to the Argentine Armourdale area and then back over to 59th and K32 and Parallel Parkway, State Avenue, Leavenworth Road, all of that, and went to Bryant School up in Quindaro, then Argentine Stanley School, and then no, it's something else now. A lot of those things have gone by the wayside. Not this guy.
No.
It's funny how when you go back and visit somehow it seems so large to you when you're younger, and you get back and you find out it was really a tiny little thing. And but no, I've been blessed to grow up in Wyandotte County, born, raised, educated, worked, retired, and still here, raised my family, and Wyandotte County is my home.
Yeah.
I have so much to be thankful for and believe in paying it forward as much as I possibly can.
Mm-hmm. So born and raised from Wyandotte County, been here all your life, and then you've served in, the community and politics for over 30 years. What got you into like politics? Kind of like what was like the turning point for you? Like, you know what, I'm going to try to be a voice in this community.
That's a great question, Michael. I know I had worked for a number of not-for-profit organizations and a lot of neighborhood groups, and it started. I worked at Colgate Palmolive Company for almost 29 years.
Is that still down there too?
No, it's closed in 2004, I believe it was, and I had a chance to work in a number of community organizations. At Colgate Palmolive let me go to work for the United Way for a couple of years. And so during that United Way time, I built a number of networks in organizations around the metropolitan area. One thing led to another. I was on a number of boards and serving as chairman of a number of them. And somebody said, you ought to think about running for office. And I said, oh, I don't know about that. And next thing you know, we ran a campaign. And, like many people, I didn't win my first campaign, but it didn't mean I shouldn't try again.
I think that's kind of cool for you to let people know, because a lot of people think like you win your first one and then you're in, and then like if you lose, like, oh, I guess this isn't for me. Like you kept going, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, and I think that if anything, it should show the resilience I think some people have. It's politics is it's a community servant ego game, because a lot of people think that just because they put their name on a ballot, they're going to win. Yeah. But it's a lot more than work. That. It is a lot of grassroots work, a lot of relationship building, a lot of transparency and communication. People say, well, you make promises. I don't make promises. I commit to doing something. I'll do the very best to doing it to ensure that it gets across the finish line. But politics is it's a blood sport in today's environment.
I know firsthand. No, just kidding. So what was the first thing that you ran for?
I ran for the State House.
That was the first election that you like State House. Here we come.
Yeah, first election. We ran for the State House. And actually the night of the election, we had won. We had been told we had won. And about 2 hours later, after we just getting started to celebrate and really get going, we got a call that absentee ballots had come through, and we lost by 56 votes.
56 votes. Yeah, you'll never forget that.
No.
Man, that's like a gut punch right there. Thinking you're win and trying to celebrate and like, hey, we forgot.
Yeah.
Golly. So what did you do after that? Kind of like back to the drawing board, or did you take some time off? Or?
Yeah, well, we have 2 years later, the Senate was up for elections, And so I was encouraged to give my try at the Senate. And we ran against two other real strong candidates that were established in politics in Wyandotte County for a number of years. And I didn't grow up in a political family. I was just one of those young people that had some concerns, like many young people today. And I understand how hard it is to be heard and listened to. And I just kept persevering and would go door to door with my causes. And we ran for the Senate. And in a three-way race, I took third. But the nice thing was we took enough votes to send a message to those that took first and second place that we should be considered. And that's really started it. After that election, so I was a two-time loser, I guess you could say. So we set out for about 4 years, and I had a number of candidates call me and ask me to run their campaigns and to consult with them. And I just started working on developing local leadership in organizations and doing what I could to ensure the community their concerns were being met and being discussed in forums. And that's the position I took. Then lo and behold, out of the blue, somebody said, "Hey, Tom, we'd like you to run again." I said, "No, I'm done. I've had my shots at those." And they said, "Well, it may be different this time. Why don't you try again?" So, we tried it the third time, and third time was a charm. We ran by a good margin, and we haven't looked back.
So how long ago was that?
That was in 96 when we won the election in 96. And we continued to go from there. We were appointed to a number of really top committees in the legislature, which allowed me to be the ranking member, which is the highest Democrat. And all the committees in the legislature that I had the privilege of serving was, the budgets, the tax committee, economic development, financial institutions, everything, all these boards that I had been active in. It prepared me for the legislature. And we had a very successful legislative career.
So how long were you in that spot for?
26 years in the Kansas House.
6 years.
Yeah,
so
6 years
you got
in
it,
leadership.
Didn't give it up.
No, and if somebody would have asked me if I'd have been there that long, I'd said, people just don't survive that long. And we were making significant progress in what we could do for our community. I'm a strong advocate of Wyandotte County, and I always tell everybody, let's be the best ambassadors we can be for our community. It's like, family here. Family can fight amongst itself, but let somebody square off against us, and we all should stand together, shoulder to shoulder. And I know when I started in the legislature, it was 104 counties and then Wyandotte. And that offended me the way they said it. And one day during that conversation in one of the committees, the comment again was made, well, there's 104 counties in Wyandotte. And I said, I asked Mr. Chairman for a point of order. I said, in Wyandotte County, with the state's constitution was written and established, and we in Wyandotte County like to say Wyandotte County and the other 104, but we're a part of this fabric. It makes up the great state of Kansas, and we should be included in that. And from that point on, the dynamics changed for me in the legislature. People, when something came forward with Wyandotte County, I was consulted on it, and we made progress. That's how I ended up carrying the NASCAR Motor Speedway bill as a freshman, to bring that economic development to
Really? That was your first year there?
My first year there.
And then you brought the NASCAR Speedway. That's cool.
Yeah, 12 years later, we got gaming.
Yeah.
That was the longest bill that it took to get passed in the legislature. It was 12 years because it was such a controversial issue. You'd get a simple majority for it, and then the next year there'd be an election, or 2 years later it'd be an election. You'd lose support. So it was a fact of just re-educating everybody that would come and trying to rebuild them coalitions. And finally, we got it passed after a double-digit hour debate on the House floor, and it passed by one vote.
One vote?
One vote.
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And so, and I'm going to go back to what you were saying about, having that pride from being from Wyandotte County. And I think it's cool because, a lot of people don't understand that aren't from here, but, not that you have to be from here, but, if you're from Wyandotte County, you have such civic pride. Even Kansas City as a whole, there's just such civic pride, but being from Wyandotte County, I think we're the only county I can think of that has their own logo, their shirt logo that we wear. like, we're Wyandotte proud, they're dot proud. Like, and from being from Wyandotte County, we're so invested in our community. And like, it's like having a family member, like you can talk bad about Wyandotte County, but no one else can.
That's
like,
right.
If you're not from here, like, whoa. And I think it's cool that, like, when you got to the house and, you got into serving the community, that you carried that same civic pride. Like, I care so much about my community. I want to invest in my community, and I want to see it, built better. And like, I'm not allowing these other people, like, it's everybody else in Wyandotte County. Like, oh, no. So right. I mean, like, I guess I'm commending you for that, because I'm glad that somebody feels the same way going into, the housing. Like, because, as people here, like, we're not there. We're not, there to take up for Wyandotte County. Right. So,
well, and we in Wyandotte County, and that's a great point, Mike. When you talk about the community pride, it's so easy to forget about the wealth and those that have done well that's come out of Wyandotte County, because we get caught up in day-to-day activities. But Wyandotte County, there's a lot there's a lot for us to be very proud of. And I like to think that, as I stated earlier, we should all be good ambassadors for our community. And we're not any different than other communities. We have our challenges, but I think what makes Wyandotte County great is a lot of the challenges, diversity and adversity that comes into play in this community. We learn to get through it because we don't have other options like many do. We've seen this community when it was at its pinnacle and a major economic hub early in the early century, and then we start seeing the exodus out of our community and the lack of growth and investment. And to see where we are now, there was a time when we couldn't get people to talk about Wyandotte County in a positive way. Now people want to be here, and that's fantastic. It's a great way to see us grow on other people's dollars, that economy that's coming back to our community. And we just need to keep that momentum going.
So how do we keep that momentum going?
Well, through economic development and continue to put on the best face we can. We're a city of the first class, and we deserve first-class amenities. We don't need to compromise our way out of something. We have value here. We have land that is reasonably priced. We have a lot of areas that can be infill developed, and we have a workforce. The Midwest has a great workforce. Coastal levels, it's so expensive, the property in the coastal levels, coastal areas. To come here in the Midwest and see the cost of labor and see the cost of land, that's why people are coming this way. Then you take the natural disasters that have happened along the coastal areas, and people come here in the Midwest and they find out, you mean I can buy acreage when I could only buy a home out down there? And that's what's bumped up some of the prices in our neighborhoods and in our state in property, because the people can afford to come here and buy it and pay cash, something that we in the Midwest haven't been able to do all the time.
And I want to go back to like the value of, economic land and, building here. And I want to like shift focus to like, everything out west. So there's a lot of stuff out west. We got Nebraska Furniture Mart, you got the NASCAR track, Cabela's or Bass Pro Shop now. A lot of amenities out there. Like, I guess, what impact has that had out west for the rest of the county? Like the economic impact, because a lot of stuff is out there, which a lot of people, complain about it. And I get it, because, a lot of stuff stopped getting built all over the county. But like, what are we seeing from out west that like the rest of the county is getting from?
Yeah, that's a great question, because here in Wyandotte County, we hear about parts of the community don't feel like they're being represented well because all the growth is out west, or a majority of the growth out west. And I can understand it to a certain extent. You ask, what are we getting out of it? For the first time that I can remember, our sales tax, we generated more sales tax than we did in property tax. Well, I can remember when we didn't have any place to sit down and eat in Wyandotte County. Our big store in Wyandotte County was a Venture. And
I remember those times. I'm born and raised too.
We had a lot of fast food burger stands that were mom and pop owned, small businesses, but they eventually went by the wayside. But when the Legends was considered for Wyandotte County. It wasn't considered the way it is today. It was part of the entire development of the Speedway. And in the legislature, there were some of us that thought that Wyandotte County should get something from that.
Yeah.
And so that's where we put an amendment on the Speedway bill to carve out the 400 acres so that the people in this community could decide what they wanted. And it would allow sales tax and property tax to be generated for our use. And I tell you, the star bonds, some people really don't understand star bonds and the economic opportunity.
And I was going to tell you, please explain star bonds to me and other people.
And star bonds is the best economic development tool I've ever seen personally. And I'm not so sure, not one of the best economic development tools when they were first proposed across the nation. There's star bonds is basically where you capture the sales tax. You identify an area that you want to develop. And if we've learned anything from the Woodlands area, there was speculation about the property around the Woodlands. People bought property around the Woodlands, and then they didn't develop. They kept holding out for whatever they could to get the price of the land up, and the Woodlands then succumbed to the gaming and the riverboats in Missouri. Yeah. And when those riverboats came in, they impacted the Woodlands. Well, when the Woodlands went down, that property then had little value. And so it didn't ever get developed like it should have been.
Yeah, it sat vacant for quite a while.
Yeah, it did. And star bonds, what we didn't want to do, some of us, we didn't want to see the not unified government at the time. I ran on the unified government ticket. So it was unified government then. It had just started. But we didn't, there's those of us in the legislature don't believe a city should be a landlord, that we shouldn't be in that business of owning property. So the star bonds takes the sales tax generated from a certificated bordered district, and everything within that district that generates sales tax goes to pay off the bonded indebtedness so that you can build the roads, the infrastructure, sewers, water line, gas, pads for the everything but vertical construction. Yeah. And that vertical construction pays property taxes. Well, those sales tax, you have to generate enough sales tax in that development. It tells you how much from the proposed design of the development will be able to contribute to pay over 20 years for a star bonds project. So when you have a place like NASCAR that comes in, it's a $200 million development, hypothetically. If it's $200 million, you better have enough sales taxes to generate $200 million in 20 years. So that encourages development, and they want to be next to the biggest, brightest development out there. We look at what it has contributed to Wyandotte County in sales. Just unbelievable, because it has to attract dollars from outside a 50-mile-an-hour area. Yeah, a 50-mile area.
So, is there anything like else coming, like out west, or any other like development out there? Because I know Buc-ee's is coming.
Yeah, Buc-ee's a big one.
Yeah. I've been to one in Texas.
That's exciting for people.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It was huge. It was like a Walmart with gas pumps,
120 gas pumps.
Yeah. So is there anything else coming that's, going to we're going to benefit from, like economically, out there, even out there or around here?
Sure. Well, and thanks for asking. As chair of the Economic Development Committee for Wyandotte County, we have, we've got the casinos finally building their destination hotel. Yeah. It's not as large as they initially proposed, but they're building it nonetheless. That should attract more people to the casino, and the casino is going to invest more money into modernizing it, expanding their footprint a little bit. Yeah. They get no incentives. There's no incentives can go to a casino project by state law. That was Senate Bill 66 when it passed in the House and Senate. And that Senate bill states that no gaming facility can get any state benefits. So you have that. Mattel has been talked about, a Star Bonds project. That is being handled more by Bonner Springs and Wyandotte County than unified government. Even though it's in Wyandotte County, it's in the city of Bonner. Then we also have the American Royal, which is a very large project that will be working in tandem with our community to ensure that agricultural industry, that we have the Agricultural Hall of Fame, which has a charter, and that is a big deal for us in the Midwest to have that charter. So they'll be partnering. You'll see that development. We'll see some additional hotels. You've also got the the home field that's expanded its footprint. You're going to see a few more developments, and I maybe shouldn't say it publicly as to what they are, but there's continued large development that's coming to home field that the people here will like. You also have the Margaritaville Hotel, which will hopefully be one of the home base hotels for the FIFA.
Oh, that'd be cool.
And the soccer teams that maybe come to Wyandotte County. We know that they'll be playing at Sporting and utilizing the facility out there. So we have a tremendous opportunity out west to see that continued growth. And there's always discussions in reference to what can come forward. We just have to be prudent and be strategic. It's one thing to have economic development and just throw the darts and hope they land somewhere positive. It's another thing to be very strategic in how we go about doing it, so that we have the infrastructure investment that's needed to assist our community in growing as we grow forward, and that we have a way to ingress and egress when we have these events. All of these things need to be considered, but most importantly, it's about how it's going to assist Wyandotte County moving forward with our economic and financial stability.
And so I know you said something about FIFA and World Cup. That's coming next year, and that's a huge event.
Yeah.
I think I was talking to someone. They're talking, there's going to be an extra 200,000-300,000 people that are like, in the city of Kansas City, like the metro area, and that's a lot of extra people. And like, as a community of Wyandotte County, even though they're going to be playing at Sporting and Arrowhead, like, are we ready for like that, like, boost in like population and, dollars and like, housing? Like, are we having steps and taking those precautions, getting there? Like, are we going to be ready before it gets here? Because it's next year, so that's coming quick. And I'm like even kind of stressing about it. I'm like, oh, it's coming. I gotta have the screen down every day, so on, so on. So like, I know, what is accounting like? What are we doing to get ready?
Wow, you got me excited.
I know.
And we should be concerned. I mean, it's going to be as you stated, the tens and hundreds of thousands of people that could come in and out of our community. It's like a Super Bowl for 40 days.
Yeah.
And we need to be prepared. The unfortunate part of some of this is that there's a group of people that are in charge of a lot of things. We've got transportation that we've got to be concerned about. We've got 2 or 3 bridges, major bridges into our community that are under construction. As you well know, we've got Kansas Avenue Bridge closed, Central Avenue Bridge is closed, 18th Street just closed, and they're hoping to have it open. I don't know if it'll be open before World Cup. Well, those 3 bridges lead right into the heart of our community, where we have a lot of small businesses such as yours. And as a community leader, I'm concerned about the impact it could have if we can't get the visitors down to our area of the community. So transportation is going to be a big one. I sit on the board of the KCATA, and I know the challenges we're going to have moving people across state line and moving them through our community. Do we have enough buses? Do we have enough places for them to stop and load and unload and park? A lot of these people have never been to the United States, and so how are we going to deal with that? We've got a service industry I grow concerned about in reference to the eateries and food establishments we have in our community. Those things are all important. I wish I could give you an answer that we're ready, but we're not. We need there's a FIFA group that is established, has community leaders and organizations working collectively together. This is new for a lot of them, but it's not new for FIFA. There's tens of millions of dollars been requested by both Missouri and Kansas legislatures, and that money has been put up, and everybody thinks they're going to be able to get a part of that. A lot of that money will go to ensure that the transportation is met and that the hotel are established. We've got a lot of Airbnbs that are getting themselves ready for this. There's a lot of groundwork that needs to be done. But if I know Kansans and people in the Midwest, we'll be ready and we'll put on the best face we possibly can. And we will learn from it. We're not naive to it. We've seen what happens. We've got 2 sports franchises that have World Series and Super Bowls that we've celebrated as a community. So we're not naive when it comes to meeting the need of large crowds.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to it. I think it's definitely cool because I've never seen anything on that scale of, how many people are going to be here. And, it's such a world stage, the World Cup is. And I think it's really cool because I never thought in a million years growing up in Wyandotte County that would be something coming to Wyandotte County. So there's a lot of cool things that are happening, and like it all helps with all the development happening and all the people that are pushing forward. So I think it's really cool to see.
It ties into that question you asked me. What did the Out West development do for our community?
Yeah.
It put us on the national stage and international stage.
Yeah.
And to think that Wyandotte County is mentioned in the same breath as the World Cup, and the
that's
opportunity
crazy
to be here. I mean, think about the diversity we have in Wyandotte County. We could get any team here and make them feel at home.
Yeah, we're one of the most diverse counties
right.
in the nation.
That's right.
I know it's like 30%, 30%, 30%, and then like an extra 10% of everybody else. It's like we are diverse.
That's
and a lot of people don't understand, or a lot of people don't know that or recognize that. And like it's true. Just drive around Wyandotte County. We got melting pots of everybody all around, especially Strawberry Hill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Mike, I think that's what makes us unique when you talk about what is it about being a dot. I think that diversity has prepared many of us in this community and many of our children what it takes to be able to meet and greet and understand people that are different. We learn that it's not that big a challenge. We do it every day.
Every day.
And that prepares us, I think, more so than the average person who lives in a community that may not have near the diversity that we have. Language barriers, the culture barriers, just the opportunity to celebrate different traditions. It prepares us so if we do have international responsibilities, we're not we have a learning curve that has already been softened because of our growth here in Wyandotte County.
Yeah. So talking about, economic growth, and we kind of focused on West, is there anything that's like, are we putting a focus on anything about like downtown? Because I know downtown's a special area, and I know, like, downtown shareholders, I'm hopefully soon to be a part of that. Like, I know there's a lot of emphasis on improving downtown, and like my business is downtown. And so I definitely want to see the downtown area, things start coming and economic growth down here because, we compete against Casey Mo downtown. You go over there, they've got like a major hub downtown, and you come over here, it's like, we're getting there. We're not there yet, but we're getting there. I'll say it as nicely as I can, but it's like, is there anything being done that, we can look forward to, especially for like the downtown area?
Sure. Well, and it's no secret. I know Wyandotte County it's been discussed about the Chiefs or the Royals' possible stadium to come down here. Those are discussions that other communities are having too. And you'll hear, everybody gets all ginned up about, well, this facility here is going to go to this county, then the county says, we're not even in negotiations. So, but I think there's tremendous opportunity. The mayor and a few of us have been talking about a riverfront project.
Yeah.
We have the Quindaro ruins, and I hate to refer to it as the ruins because it's only gotten that way because it's by demolition by deterioration.
Yeah.
And we've let it go so long, and we need to take some action. Not much different than what we did about the Sour Castle that's over in Argentina. Something has to be done. But the fact that some of those buildings up there, Weston University site and the Vernon Center, are all in the National Historical Register allows us to get national recognition for doing something that would bring light to the Quindaro and development. 18th and Quindaro, we're looking at, as I stated, I sat on the KCATA board, and we're looking at creating a bus route that would bring workers to 18th Street. 18th Street and Quindaro is a major corridor that could lead right into Quindaro. We have Wilson's Pizza up there.
And great spot.
Yeah, he's really made a name for himself up there. And if there was a way we could incentivize that area and bring a bus route up there, then create some kind of economic package that would allow for additional development along that corridor, bring a grocery store, Mr. Wilson's Pizza and chicken or whatever he chooses to branch out and do, and lighten that corridor up it would be an impetus to allow KCATA to have the bus route, bring more up there. We have the riverfront project that the mayor and I have discussed in great length, and that's very forward thinking to tie the Quindaro ruins to Call Point. And I call that our oceanfront property because it overlooks the river. And when you look at Quindaro, you look across the river and you see Parkville. You come on around the point, which actually the mayor and I took a tour of the river this summer, and both Kansas and Missouri, to see how the shorelines look. And there's tremendous opportunity for riverfront development that could encourage long-term development along that riverfront. But it takes dollars. It takes vision. It takes someone that can communicate that vision, and to ensure that we find a way to make those projects come from that side of the river to our side of the river.
Yeah.
You mentioned Kansas City, Missouri. You know, people say we're competing with Missouri, and on the south side of the river over here, they say we're competing with Johnson County. Well, Wyandotte County hasn't died on the vine. We always find a way to find rebirth. I like to refer to our community as a phoenix on the plains.
There we go.
I
like that.
We found our way to new development, new growth, a new way of thinking about how we do business. I can't think of a time when I was growing up, Michael, that I heard people say, you know, we ought to think about a speedway or a casino or Mattel or something in Wyandotte County. We didn't hear those conversations.
No, never.
Now they're more common now. And it's exciting for me, having lived here my whole life. But what it really does, I think, not only for those that I know in this community, but for those that may not have stayed here, that have left, that come back home.
Yeah.
It's given hope to our youth that, hey, there's housing here now. And we need to finish developing the cul-de-sacs that we developed and where they just truncated. We can't continue to build low-income apartments, and we can't continue to build barrack-style housing. We know what that did to this community decades ago, but we can't invest in our neighborhoods. We can invest in affordable housing that allows families to own their homes and build their equity and have a future and a piece of the pie known as Wyandotte County. And I'm ready to do that.
Now you get me all fired up. So you mentioned a couple like small businesses, you know, like Wilson's Pizza and other mom and pop shops. Like, why are small businesses so important to Wyandotte County, like especially to you?
Sure. They're lifeblood. People that want to invest in Wyandotte County in small business are those that are going to most likely stay here and contribute to Wyandotte County. They have a commitment to themselves. They're not committed to a board. They're not committed to a national or international office where they make their revenue here and send it back somewhere. And I'm not stating that I don't have respect for those, but the small business owner is more community driven, community minded, and they support your sports teams, they support the neighbors, and they work with other small businesses to ensure that their products, their name, and their clientele visit and back and forth with one another. And that dollar stays within the community and turns over a number of times.
Yeah.
And they're the ones paying our property taxes. They're paying our children. They're providing jobs for our neighbors and our families. I have so much respect for a small business person. They don't get a break.
No,
they don't get a break.
No, they're 7 days a week.
That's right. 7 days a week, 24/7. It's on their mind. It is part of who they are.
Yeah.
It's a fabric of themselves.
Someone like made a comparison that it sticks with me. It's like having your own small business is like having a child that doesn't grow up. It just stays a newborn, and you're always worried about it. You're always caring for it. It's always on your mind, and it's like, that's like that forever. And I'm just like, that's exactly how it is. Like, no matter what, like, I will always be thinking about this place. I will always be worried about this place. And then, like, it shows a testament too. Like, if someone's in like a small business like that and 10 years down the road and they still have that feeling, that means they still care. And like to your testament, like about Wyandotte County, I think there's a lot of small businesses here that show that, you know, that Wyandotte County civic pride and, you know, being in Wyandotte County, having the small business, taking, you know, ownership of it and getting people through the door and getting people that would never come to Wyandotte County. I think it's so cool to see. And like like, are we doing anything to, I guess, help business owners out? Because I know you talked about like a task force that you wanted to put together, or that's already put together. I don't know which one you said, but like to help small businesses out for like little needs they need. Like,
yeah, the Economic Development Task Force, there's myself and one of the other commissioners. We're collectively met with some of the developers, and we've got a volunteer board that we get together 2 times a month for an hour, and we discuss ordinances and resolutions and plan and zoning and those issues that get in the way of small business, and how can we streamline the business process. There's nothing more frustrating than to have your plans ready, you submit them, and you find out, well, you've got to go over here to do that, and you pay a fee over there, then you got to go down here and do that. We should streamline that process. You're willing to invest in our community. We should be understanding of that, and we should be better organized in how we do things. But, Michael, you talk about the small businesses in this community. They were the lifeblood of our community for decades, because we didn't have anything big like we talked about. Those small burger joints were owned by families here in Wyandotte County. Even the cafes were owned by family in this community. But one thing I'd like to say to you that I can't thank you enough, and how proud of you I am in bringing your dreams and aspirations to reality here.
Wow, thank you.
In Wyandotte County. I mean, you've been here a little over 2 years, and the clientele that comes in down here is who's who of our community. And everybody is so welcoming, and it's just such a joy to come in here. It kind of reminds me of that Cheers thing, where everybody knows who you are.
No better place than Wyandotte County.
Buddy, I'm telling you, kudos to you, and thank you for investing in our community. I'll do whatever I can to help you and others just like you.
Well, I appreciate that. So I guess it's no secret. I mean, if it is, then we're letting the cat out of the bag. So you're running for mayor.
Yes.
So, yes. And I commend you for that. It's a big feat, and I hope you do well. And that's one of the reasons why you're on the podcast, so we get to question you about all your, upcoming things. One of the hot topics lately has been like the fear of like how our county is doing economically. Like, what steps are we taking? Like, there's always talk about like our county's going bankrupt and stuff like that. We're not managing funds well. Like, I guess, what are we doing now to help that? And what would you do to help prevent that, or, bring in more dollars to our community?
Well, those are all great questions. I'll try to be as concise as I can. Fiscal stability and sustainability are extremely important in anything you do. You're a businessman. You can't operate and continue to lose money and expect to be in operation very long, unless you take out loans, and then you start digging into savings. And that's not much different than what we've done in Wyandotte County. There's been decisions that have been made that probably weren't some of the best. And it's just now a matter of going back and looking at the ordinances and the resolutions that contribute to that. We need to ensure, when we have some of the highest wages paid in the state, only to see our median income be below what others around us have. Yeah, it seems like we see backwards. Those sundowner dollars, or see the dollars leave our community. That says a lot. What we need to do is get those dollars to stay here. And so through economic development, economic expansion, better paying jobs, that's why we need quality housing stock, because there was times where we didn't have opportunities for people to move up. The only thing they had was to be able to move out, and that would free up a home. Well, we need to continue that development. And apartments are necessary part of a development, but they can't be all apartments. We need neighborhoods. We need families that'll stay here, second, third generation families, like we had before. So the other one that I would say, economic development, as I just touched on, financial stability. Of course, public safety is always a major issue. I want to commend Chief Oakman for being able to address some of the crime statistics that have put us in a positive light. It hasn't been easy, but he stepped in, and I want to commend the police department and our fire department for the community service they give us. And then we can't discount the sheriff's office.
I was about to say, you better not.
No, absolutely not. Our community servants that provide public safety are what protects us as a community. They are our overseers. And I want them to know they have a partner here. I support each and every one of them. I want to thank them for their work. I want to thank them for their unselfish service to this community. The other thing I would talk about is getting our tax situation under control.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question.
Yes, and I know it's out there. I live in this community too. I've seen my taxes bloom, but I
bloom's a nice word to put it.
Yeah, I don't. Well, there's other words that people use for them, but I'll use the word bloom. But I will state this: you're talking to one of the only elected individuals in 30 years that has continued to vote for tax cuts. I did it in the legislature. We cut the statewide mill levy from 32 to 20. My first 2 years I was in the legislature, there was 7 of us in one party that joined up with others, and we were called the Significant Seven, and we changed the tax policy for the state of Kansas. And it was the largest tax cut in modern times. As a matter of fact, some of the tax bill they were talking about this year was kind of a reflection of what happened back in 96 and 97 when we passed the new statewide tax plan. We can look at the appraisals. I know there's a lot of discussion going on in the legislature in reference to how property is being appraised. That is the legislature I know how hard it is to get things done up there. You've got to have a consensus. I hope that they come to an understanding and agreement that the revenue that the legislature took from counties, known as the LAVTR, the local revenue sharing, that dealt with property tax, they stopped doing that revenue sharing with the counties to the tune of over $2 billion.
Oh, man.
And that money did not come back to your local communities. And so that's where property taxes started. That was some of the only ways we had it. And Mike, in our community, we didn't have retail like we have now.
Yeah.
And so just think where we would be had we not had the retail. Again, that's how the West has contributed to Wyandotte County in reference to development. We need more economic development. We need more sales tax dollars. We need more visitors dollars. And we have to unselfishly go after those.
Yeah.
If not, then we can't repeat what we've done in the past. Continue to go to the homeowner and ask them to pay more. That's just not feasible. It's not sustainable. We can't continue to draw from our reserves when they're just the bare minimum reserves. We have to be prudent in how we look at economic development, how we look at housing development, how we look at job creation. We need to be specifically targeting economic development that gives us the best return on investment.
Yeah. Seems like you got a plan. I like it. Yeah. We got to put it in place.
Well, I've been very fortunate. This community has supported I'm a public servant. I don't like to think of myself as a politician. And as a public servant, and as passionate as I am about Wyandotte County, I work to leave this place in a better place than I found it. And I can't do it by myself. It takes many of us. And if I can be that voice to help get us there, then use me as that instrument.
Yeah.
The network system I've been fortunate to put together, the 26 years experience I attained in the legislature, having risen all the way to being a member of the leadership team for the state of Kansas. I bring those values back home and those experiences back home as commissioner at large to get a jump on the opportunities that come to our community and to bring that network here to work for us on a local level. And I hope that the community will recognize that and see me worthy as a potential community servant, but more importantly, as the mayor CEO of Wyandotte County, Kansas City, Kansas.
You just kind of answered my question. I was going to ask you why do you think, or why did you want to run for mayor? And I mean, I guess that kind of summed it up. Like, yeah, you care deeply for this community.
Oh, I do. And I can't see myself anywhere else. Community has been good to me, and there's so much opportunity here for others, and the mentorship that I've been provided by many people in this community and people that I've grown to know. Some of them have passed on, and I'm in that mentor stage myself. I love to talk to the younger generation. I know we may not always agree, but we don't always disagree. Help educate me. I'm not too old to learn, and I'm willing to listen, but don't yell at me. Talk to me. You talk to me and I'll listen.
Yeah, don't yell.
Don't, yeah.
I could hear you just fine if you just talk to me. I'm sure you get a lot of that, especially at those commission meetings.
Yeah, we do. But I'm excited. We believe our campaign is well rounded to meet the taxpayers and the voters with the questions they're going to be bringing forward. Are we going to come to agreement on everything? It's reality that we won't. But know this. I will work tirelessly as I have for 30 years to ensure that Wyandotte County's number one priority is the people of Wyandotte County. Our campaign slogan is let the people be heard.
Let the people be heard. So you're like answering all my questions I'm going to ask. So I was going to say, why should they vote for you? And there you go. Like you kind of gave your little elevator speech. I love it. So when's the election coming up?
The election will be in August. Will be our primary. The general will be in November. I don't look past the primary. We have to get through the primary, and we're doing our ground game now. And we're well seated. I'm never comfortable. I never underestimate an opponent. The community deserves solid leaders, and hopefully that the experiences and the successes that we've had while in the legislature and the opportunity to bring those successes back home to Wyandotte County will be the driving force behind the community and pushing us into the mayor's office.
Yeah. So how do we get more people out there to vote? Like and I know that's nothing like we just wave a magic wand. But I know like a lot of local elections, we always miss the beat and we don't get enough people out to vote that we should. Like the amount of registered voters in Wyandotte County and the amount that show up is like sometimes disheartening. I can say it. Like I want more people to get out there and vote. Like we can't just keep complaining about stuff and then we only have a couple thousand people show up to vote. So like, I guess what would you say to someone out there like, hey, get out, even if you don't vote for, just like come out and vote, let your voice be heard.
Voter fatigue. The national, the dialogue, if you even want to call it the dialogue that occurs on a national level, it comes to the state level, and then it gets to the local level. It's difficult for people to have differences of opinion today. It turns into a yelling match, and then it turns into disrespect, and then the name calling. It doesn't need to be that way. I went to a civil discourse meeting put on over at the World War I Museum the other night, civil discourse. And it's important that we learn to have that civil discourse. I think when we do that, we find out that we have more things in common than we don't have in common. And it's important to treat people with dignity and respect. Lower the temperament a little bit. Have dialogue with your friends and neighbors, and encourage people that if it matters to you, it should matter to me. And so when that happens, people will invest in you. They'll invest in the subject. They'll get to the polls. We can continue to do what we can to be ambassadors for a subject matter. We have a lot of issues that need to be addressed. I'm issue oriented. You give me an issue and I'll do my best to address it. And we are a community of many challenges. And but I'll say we're a community of many opportunities too.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to ask it anyway, but just so we can get some good content. So why should someone vote for Tom Burroughs for mayor for Wyandotte County?
Well, everybody says it's because I'm a lifelong Wyandotte County resident. That should resonate with I call them cradle dots. And but more importantly, I think the fact that I've chosen to stay here. I'm commissioner at large, District 2. My candidacy, if I was to run again for the at-large, I could probably be comfortable in that position, but I'm not a guy that likes to get comfortable. I'm not afraid to get out and work. And the 29 years at Colgate-Palmolive Company, 26 years in the State House. When I get committed to something, I'm committed to it. In the fact that I picked up the knowledge and the network and the experiences in Topeka that I was able to get at the state capitol, to bring that back home and put us in the forefront of any opportunities that come forward to Wyandotte County to prepare us to be ready, I'm for that. Yeah. And that's what I bring back home to the residents of and the citizens of Wyandotte County. I'm invested here. I'm the product that they've made me. Yeah. I am their public servant, their voice. And I believe that we've successfully been a strong voice, a good voice. And I believe that as the mayor, CEO, we can continue that voice. We can continue those successes. And we can be proud of the fact that we've grown one of our own to continue to lead Wyandotte County forward.
And so hopefully, let's say you get it. Are you going to be there for longer than one term?
Well, that'll be up to the people.
Yeah. I mean, I just, because we've had lots of one-term mayors. So I think we need some stability.
Well, every 2 years I had to run in the legislature, so I was up for re-election. That would keep you on your toes. But more than anything, having a servant heart, and that's what I feel I have. Like I said, I don't like the word politician. I like community servant or public servant because it's a term of, I think, endearment that
because you're not really you're a politician, but you're serving the community.
I am.
Yeah, that's what you're truly doing.
And that's it's important that the community know that they have someone that's committed to Wyandotte County. I'm not, those that move to our county, thank you for coming here and believing in us. Give us an opportunity to show you what the dots are really like. But the experience, the knowledge, the commitment, the successes, and the willingness to do the job, I hope are the qualities that the people of Wyandotte County will find satisfactory to cast their vote for me, Tom Burroughs, Mayor, CEO of Wyandotte County, Kansas City, Kansas.
Well, Tom, thank you for coming on. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Michael. I appreciate it. It was a good time. It's always fun to sit down and visit with my friend.
Yeah, and I wish you the best of luck on the rest of the campaign. And like you said, August is
August is the primary.
The primary, the November, the general.
Is the general. And filing deadline is June. So, there's a lot going on right now.
So you'll know who your other candidates are after June.
I anticipate that, there's a lot of discussion as to who wants to do what. But, I filed December 12th of 2024. The earliest.
You got it early.
I did. First time I've ever filed that early for any office, but it was the purpose is to let people know that we're here. Come to me. Let the people be heard.
So how can people find you? Like you have Facebook or website?
I have Facebook and website that'll be going live here in the middle of the month. Okay. It's been really early, as we stated, we filed early. I've been around a while. I don't hide. I still have an old Facebook account, Tom Burroughs State Representative. I have the Tom Burroughs Commissioner at Large District 2, and I have the same phone number that I've had, area code 913-963-7415.
All right, you're going to put your number out. There's going to be some crazy people.
I've had that same number for 30 years, and that's direct line to me. I don't hide. I'm here. I'm everywhere in Wyandotte County, so come see me.
Cool. Well, like I said, I appreciate you coming on, and best of luck to you.
Well, thank you, my friend. I appreciate it.
Thank you for coming on. And thank you guys for tuning in. Like I said before, like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Make sure you follow us on all social media platforms, and we will catch you next week.
Goodbye, everybody.